Hello, everybody out there. It's Timothy here with Mana Rocks. We are jumping into another core set 2019 draft. A couple things I've noticed about this format, and we can easily go ahead and reserve Banefire here while we talk about some things, is if you're not drafting the full-on aggro decks, normally red-white, then I feel like control is the way to go, and you need to snap up removal basically every chance you get. The red-white aggro decks are insanely good in this format, so much so that, I feel on average you face that deck at least once per draft, sometimes more than that, because people are just forcing the deck. It's clearly, I think it's the best deck in the format. The cards are so efficient, and if you get a quick start, you go wide, and you have any of the Inspired Charge or Trumpet Blast type effects, and you have just one or two removal spells to back up your plays, you usually steal games unless your opponent has a very good draw. Banefire is very nice. Probably going to splash it if we don't end up playing it, so it's a nice little card to start off with. Game Finisher, I think the very first draft I did of this format, I went out in round 1 to a Banefire, so if you watch that, you know Banefire is pretty good. Unfortunately, pack 2 doesn't have very much for us. If we want to stay on color, we could take Havoc Devils, but that's the only red card in the pack. Our uncommons are so-so. Switcheroo is probably maybe the best card in the pack. If I really wanted to force red-white, I would just take Drill Master here. Any of these 2-drops that do something when they come into play are pretty good. Switcheroo is pretty good if you pick up Aviation Pioneers, Omen Speakers, things like that, and I think I'm going to take it, although Switcheroo is bad against the aggro decks, so good against the control decks and the decks that have a few finishers or decks with Colossal Dreadmaws, but pretty bad against the go wide decks, and I think I'm just going to pick it. I could see picking up Druid of Horns here and trying to draft that plan since it's worked for me before, but kind of not too into it. Ooh, kind of wish I had now, because then I could snap up either Knightly Valor or Declare Dominance. Not really anything that goes great with Switcheroo. I could take Skyscanner and stay open, but these are both pretty good signs. There's a rare and a common missing from this pack. So somebody wanted a common more than either of these two uncommons here, and the rare doesn't really tell us much. Not going to force anything for Switcheroo. I think I still like to stay fairly open right now and just take kind of the best cards until things fall in line and I know exactly what's open. With that being said, I really like Knightly Valor. I think this card's pretty fantastic. Great in basically any white deck. Declare Dominance is also really good, but this one depends on you having, certain things go right. It's really bad when you're behind. It's really bad when you're getting swung out on and alpha striked every turn. Could see taking Skyscanner there, too. All right, here's an interesting pack, because Enigma Drake is good in blue-red specifically, but ends up not being a card I draft very often. In fact, I've never played a deck with Enigma Drake in it in this format. But the pack's also kind of weak. Seeing a lot of these kind of mediocre cards for red-blue, not really seeing a clear signal that something else is open. Bristling Boar is fine. Dwarven Priest and Skeleton Archer are all fine for their colors. These are the type of cards that I'm looking to pick up on the wheel if I can. All of these creatures basically are fine, but Enigma Drake could be really sweet if we actually end up red-blue. So I think I'm going to take it, and if I end up not playing it, then so be it. There's a good chance I'm not playing any of the other cards either. I do think Plague Mare is fantastic in this format, specifically because I like to have a good matchup against red-blue. Or, I'm sorry, red-white. And Plague Mare is a good way to sweep some of those two mana creatures. There are matchups where Plague Mare is not that great. I think for me, I can just take Spark Tongue Dragon here. It fits 2 of the picks I've already got. Not really great Switcheroo, but it is a pretty good sign that red isn't being, snapped up here, whereas Plague Mare is a pretty good sign that black is open. I think I'm going to ignore that for the most part, considering I haven't seen many other premium black cards, and I don't have a single black card in my pool, so I'll just take the on-color dragon here. And see, these are just the only black cards that I have access to now. Here, I could pick up Draconic Disciple. It's a good sign that red-green specifically is open. We could end up being Teamer colors here or something like that. I'm not too impressed with anything else in this pack, so I guess this is just the strongest card. Doesn't really, again, we're not forcing anything here. I think red is open, but the second color is not quite as clear. The second color is not clear at all. So we could be red-blue, we could be red-green. I mean, we're probably not red-white at this point, although Take Vengeance is a fine card. Don't really love Active Treason. Probably just going to pick up this Ogre, which I'm not really in love with either. Do I just take Vengeance here? What happens if I end up red-white? Take Vengeance is fine in red-white. It's not one of the best cards. I guess since we know pretty well that we're going to be drafting red, we might as well just take the red card in that pack that's most playable. And we have not wheeled yet. Worth noting that we've seen 3 of Johnny's Welcomes. This card is not good, but there are some decks that can take advantage of it. It's an uncommon, so it's kind of weird to see 3 of those. We're going to take Uncomfortable Chill, another good card against the aggro decks. Playable in basically any deck. Maybe I want to take some consideration to be in red-green here in case this doesn't work out, and getting a Bristling Boar this late is probably a decent sign. Actually, we might want to do that. Maybe we can set ourselves up for like the Colossal Might deck or some sort of ramp deck. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take the, well, we took the Bristling Boar there. So let's go ahead and say Knightly Valor is not working out. And the 2 blue cards, we're going to have to make a decision between whether we're blue or whether we're green. And it looks like based on the packs, we're going to be green here. Like, I have the option to take Havoc Devils or Greenwood Sentinel, not Tolarian Scholar. I like Greenwood Sentinel a lot if you end up playing things like Oakenform. Havoc Devils is just a fine card. We have a lot of 3s. I think I'm just going to pick up Havoc Devils here in the off chance I end up blue. Ooh, Druid of Horns, huh? If I pick up a Druid now, I can definitely prioritize some enchantments in the next pack. I also have a Knightly Valor, so that's something. There's also just a 2-drop in Greenwood Sentinel, but I'm going to pick up Druid of Horns and see what we can follow up with. Like, this Oakenform is fine. Not going to play anything out of this pack. Forsaken Sanctuary is kind of a bit of a stretch to see that making it into my deck. I guess I could pick up like a Smelt for a sideboard card since my deck is probably not interested in Tectonic Rift. I don't hate Tectonic Rift in the Go Wide decks. So we've got 3 other considerations here. I highly doubt we're going to play this Enigma Drake given how the rest of this pack is gone. But Druid of Horns gives us an incentive to draft things like Talons of Wildwood. Switcheroo is not good in the form of, you know, this sort of deck that we're drafting here, so I didn't really see much to say blue was widely open anyway. White didn't seem open. We saw a Plague Mare, but black didn't seem like it had a lot of quality cards. But red and green both seemed fairly open from what we saw, so not too disappointed about it. Let's go ahead and dump this stuff in the sideboard, and we'll keep an eye on Knightly Valor because it is really good with Druid of Horns. And that could definitely help. I think Torment Invoice is the type of card you want at least one of in most of your decks, because if you flood out in this format, you do basically die. And it doesn't feel great, but it happens. And Torment Invoice, Macabre Waltz, Sift, these are all cards that can help you when you flood out. I would love to just, you know, get a Lathliss here, get some premium 2-drops, Dryad Greenseeker, Lightning Strike. We've got a pretty good start coming out of that pack. We've got a little bit of flexibility in what we can do here. Definitely more of the beatdown path, so we like to pick up Druid of the Cows, Elvish Rejuvenators, Gift of Paradise. Not sure Goblin Trashmaster is what I'm looking for. Not that I hate this card, but it's not making it in the deck here. So we're looking at, I guess there's Electrify here, which kind of sucks because I like Gaspark Twins, but it's not really that much better than Colossal Dreadmaw. And Declared Dominance is fantastic too in the sort of deck that we're drafting here. I think I have to pick up Electrify though, and I might get one of these green cards back. Probably not, but it's not impossible. I will kind of regret passing up on Gaspark Twins if I get a Sarkhan's Unsealing, but you need the removal when you can get it. I'll pick up Electrify here. Also a little bit lower on the curve than the other 2 cards. Sometimes Declared Dominance doesn't really do what you want it to. Again, if your opponent's swinging out on you, or they just have a bunch of cards you don't really want to swing into, then Declared Dominance doesn't really do the trick. This is a Vine Mare. Also, Inferno Hellion has impressed me in this format. You wouldn't think that a Lava Axe, you know, with some legs would be that impressive, but there are a lot of things you can do before it gets shuffled back, like sack it to Thud or something like that. And it hits really hard. Plus, your opponent's incentivized not to block it since it's just going to die, and they often just take a huge hit. I'm going to pick up Vine Mare. Really good with Knightly Valor and Oakenform. Our 4-drop slot is getting pretty hefty here, but I like that there's enough red and green in this pack that we're probably going to wheel something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to get something back from this pack, and I'm kind of hoping it's one of the 2-drops. I would be happy with any of these coming back, but I would also consider Inferno Helion and Rock's Oracle on the wheel. Vinemare is just fantastic, though. All right, green's open. Poison Tip Archer is nice, but it's not really the splash we're looking for. Reclamation Sage is fantastic, and so is Vigilant Bailoff, so lots of good options here. And again, we might wheel something. If I take one of these green cards, which I think I'm between these two, I'm not going to get the other back. I think I'm going to lean towards Vigilant Bailoff, just a big beater here. And if I can get all of the beaters out of the way in pack 2, then I can really prioritize some of the cheaper cards in pack 3. Reclamation Sage is good most of the time, though. That's a Luminous Bonds, which we could consider splashing for. We have Draconic Disciple and Tranquil Expanse already. If not for that, we would take Talons of Wildwood or Vyashno Pyromancer. Talons seems pretty good in our deck. Luminous Bonds is also just great, but we currently only have one way to splash it. Our removal at the moment is just Electrify and Banefire. Granted, those are both pretty good. And I might get Talons back anyway, although there's not really another playable green card in the pack, so I am going to pick up Luminous Bonds for the potential splash. Look for like a Gift of Paradise to help me splash it. Or Stone Quarry could do the trick. It's another free white splash. That's a late Gravedigger. There's also a Thud here, which I don't mind playing as one of in these decks to kind of finish the opponent. It's like another Banefire type card where it just kind of seals the deal if you get a fast start on the opponent. Not really looking for more 4-drops here, so this kind of helps with the 2 white cards that I'm definitely thinking about splashing. Almost likely to. I really need to focus on the low end of this curve coming into the last pack. I wouldn't mind picking up like a Colossal Dreadmaw, maybe one more 6 or a 7 or something like that, but prioritizing basically any ramp or early game creatures that are worth playing. Druid of the Cow, Rabid Bite, these are all cards I'm interested in picking up. Deck's not insane, but definitely has some legs to stand on. And not really considering Enigma Drake or Switcheroo or anything like that. Thornhide Wolves, Bristling Boar, Wall of Vines. I think Thornhide Wolves is actually really decent in this format. I don't like Wall of Vines. I don't even like boarding in Wall of Vines. So I'm probably going to pick up Thornhide Wolves here. It's another 5-drop. Maybe I just want another 4-drop. Bristling Boar is fine. Alright, I'm going to grab Thornhide Wolves here. Ooh, Volley Veteran. That might actually be better than just random Thornhide Wolves. This card's not fantastic, but it is decent. Fire Elemental, I think, is worse than Thornhide Wolves, although sometimes you can board this in against people who are playing like Wall of Mist. And Rock's Oracle's fine. Man, this deck really wants a Sarkhan's Unsealing. I know I get that like every draft. Maybe I just want Torment in voice, though. I have tons of 4s and 5s already. Maybe I can afford to, skip out on just another kind of average 4 or 5 power creature to pick up a Tormented Voice. I think I'm going to do that. Ooh, Centaur Courser is nice. I like this as just a curve filler creature. It's not like it's insane or anything, but the stats are pretty good. It's good blocker. It can pick up auras and stuff like that fairly early on. It's not a 2-drop we're hoping for. Gaspark Twins came back. I'm pretty happy taking that. If it weren't in the pack, I'd be happy with Naturalize. What was the other green card? Declare Dominance. So there is another person who was interested in that. 2 options here. So all 3 of the 2-drops came back out of this pack. I think my deck wants Greenwood Sentinel. It's the best thing to stick an Oakenform or a Knightly Valor on. Goblin Instigator is pretty good against the same type of decks that are playing things like Goblin Instigator, but it's not insane unless you have the payoffs for going wide, which we do not. So I think Greenwood Sentinel is a fairly easy pick here. I will take, do I want another Plummet? Or, I'm sorry, another Oakenform? Doesn't look like I'm getting Talons of Wildwood back. Plummet's a great sideboard card, but I could consider main deck in this Oakenform. I think if I want one more effect like Oakenform, I can get it fairly easily, so I'll just take Plummet. Recollect is just kind of feels like a waste of mana. I'll take Fire Elemental to board or swap in for Thornhide Wolves whenever that seems good. Thud? I'll take Thud. Again, I don't hate Thud as a finisher. It's kind of like Lava Axe. You really only cast in Lava Axe when it kills your opponent anyway, and Thud kind of does the same thing when you're playing big creatures like this. Especially Thud can really get your opponent dead if you stick some R's on something. Bug Stomper, kind of out of place for its color. Coming out of that pack with 18 playables here. All right, here's some real options. So Daggerback Basilisk and Gearcur Guide are not really in consideration here, although I would like to play both of them. Chaos Wand is a card that I've drafted a couple times before. I've had it played against me. It's the type of card I take, but keep it in my sideboard and then board into it when I know it's good. Because if you play against red-white, you can never cast this card. You don't have the time to play it and activate it. And there are some decks that are full of pump spells or counter spells where the timing makes it really weird. I think I just want Colossal Majesty here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 creatures that trigger it, and we might even pick up 1 or 2 more. Plus, if I stick like Oakenform on something, or we suit up a Druid, that works too. I think Colossal Majesty is what my deck wants. Chaos Wand can be a unique card, but I think I have a deck that's here to capitalize on Colossal Majesty, and that is a gift in Dryad Greenseeker. This is exactly the type of card I'm looking for. The card is fantastic. We've already kind of hooped and raved about it enough. If that weren't in the pack, I would probably take Boggart Brute or Pyromancer, but this is a 2-drop. It fills out the early part of the curve, which is what I'm looking to do, and it does so with a pretty fantastic card. I don't think Lightning and Mare is very good. 1 toughness creatures are not particularly exciting in this format, and double red, the one time I played this, I just kept getting screwed on the mana. It's not even something that's insane on turn 2, but Skyscanner might be my pick. Maybe I want Pyromancer. Maybe I want Giant Spider. There are a lot of good cards in this pack. I think I'm just going to pick up Skyscanner. We have ways to augment it. We can put a Nightly Valor on it. We can put an Oakenform on it. My deck might just want like a beater in Centaur Courser, though, but it's kind of hard for me to pass Skyscanner. Lots of good black cards here. There's a Greenwood Sentinel, another Courser, a Naturalize, and a Manolith. Is my deck interested in Manolith? It helps splash the white cards. It ramps to these. It's not Gift of Paradise, unfortunately. I would probably take that out of this pack. I think I just want one of the creatures. I'm probably just going to pick up a Greenwood Sentinel. Again, I want the early part of this curve filled out. Wow. Vampire Sovereign. So black ended up being extremely open. Strangling Spores too. Jeez. And Ravenous Harpy. Yeah, I mean, it kind of feels bad to pass these cards. I think Vampire Sovereign is insane in this format. 4 toughness is actually super relevant. The ability is great, and black has a lot of ways to recur it and trigger its ability again. But we're going to pick up Rejuvenator, which is just better than Manolith as far as I'm concerned. And Murder, there's just nobody in black. There are good picks for us, though, so we're going to ignore all of the insane black cards here. Black did not seem open in pack 1 except that Plague Mare. There just wasn't that much that wanted me to shift into black. And then pack 2, I don't remember seeing much either. We do have a real choice to make here, though. Spark Tongue, Talons, Gaspark Twins. Not entirely sure my deck wants a second Gaspark Twins. I would take a Colossal Dreadmaw, but maybe my deck wants Talons over, say, another Spark Tongue, which notably does not trigger Colossal Majesty, and it's fine. I'm going to actually take Talons here over just another big fatty. I think I've got fatties covered here. Desecrated Tomb's a card I think is cool, but not exciting. Rise from the Grave is fine. Giant Spider is a card I'm interested in boarding in a good amount of the time, so I'll take that. Not really looking to play anything else out of that pack. Brawl Bash Ogre, huh? So do I want to board here, or do I want to naturalize for the board? I didn't get Reclamation Sage. Keep that in mind. I took, what did I take over? I took some other green card over it. And I'm already going to have to make cuts for my deck. I do like board, but I think having access to a naturalize might be more important here. Did get some of these cards back. I think Gear Per Guide is underrated, but not amazing. And I think Highland Game is pretty crappy. I would happily play these Greenwood Sentinels. So Gear Per Guide can make the cut. Rock's Oracle came back. This card's not great. Pyromancer might actually be what I want if I play against decks that want little creatures, but let's go and just grab the Rock's Oracle. I don't like Pyromancer unless you are going wide and you have ways to augment it, which I'm not really looking to slap an Oakenform on a 2-1. I'd rather slap it on a 2/2. I think Thornhide Wolves probably isn't going to make the cut. Maybe Rock's Oracle. Rock's Oracle's super mediocre. Take a Centaur Courser. Onake Ogre. I gotta be careful about cutting too many 4-power creatures, though, on account of the Colossal Majesty. We don't want to make this bad in our deck. Thud could probably come out. Got a lot of playables. A lot of playables. I think Rock's Oracle is just kind of whatever. I don't have to play these 2 white cards either, but you can see we did not get a lot of removal. I could see cutting like Druid of Horns and not going that. I mean, how many things do I have to put on Druid of Horns? 3, Knightly Valor, Talons, Oakenform. It's not bad. It's really not. This card's just super mediocre on its own. And these enchantments are going to be just fine anyway on any creature. I don't necessarily have to get the 3/3s. Alright, convince myself to take the Druid out. Probably taking... I mean, I have to take one of these 5-drops out, I think. Man, the black player definitely got hooked up this pack. They got a late Murder. They got a late Vampire Sovereign. I guess they're wheeling bad playables. I really don't love a Onake Ogre. I don't have the Sarkhan's Unsealing. I would rather have Centaur Coursers. And then I think I'm going to cut one of the 5-drops and still run this Colossal Majesty. Be fairly happy with it. I think it's between Rock's Oracle and Thornhide Wolves. And I think Rock's Oracle is just kind of mediocre. I think people way overrate this card. It's decent when you have more expensive cards, but it's, it replacing itself doesn't matter that much when you spent a whole turn and you traded off like your opponent's 2-drop. I mean, that's cool and all, like it did replace itself, but it also cost you the turn, whereas Skyscanner comes down early enough, and sometimes you play Skyscanner and get to play something else on the same turn. That just doesn't happen with Rock's Oracle. If I move these 2 lands to the board, which I'm going to immediately put them back in because I forget about that all the time. I need to cut 3 more cards. Probably some amount of these 3-drops. I like my high end. I've got enough beef at the top end that it's pretty good. I've got a good finisher in Banefire, Gaspark Twins, a couple other decent cards here. Cutting the Druid of Horns makes me want to cut one of the 3 enchantments. I like Knightly Valor a lot. Talons is pretty decent, and Oakenform is also strong. I think it's going to be Talons, though. I know Talons is pretty good on some of these creatures, and we can always, board out Oakenform into Talons if we feel like it's going to be better, but sometimes you play, like, turn 2 Sentinel, turn 3 Oakenform, and you can just steal a game that way. Doesn't happen too often, but it is possible. Maybe I want to cut Thud, too. It is card disadvantage. If it's not killing the opponent, it's not fantastic, but it can be, pretty awkward removal in a very awkward situation if you need it to be. And then 1 3-drop here. It might be Gearper Guide or one of these Centaur Coursers. Got a lot of 3-drops, a lot of playable ones too. I like the Tormented Voice for the same reasons I mentioned during the draft, that it just really helps. Actually, you know what? If I cut the Thud, this is 23, isn't it? I don't need to cut any more cards. It is. And it seems like it has a decent curve. Let me check for Colossal Majesty again. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures in the main board. Plus, I have Oakenform, which is essentially another creature in the main board. Alright, I'm going to do something I'm not in love with. I'm going to cut one of those coursers for an Onake Ogre just to up the count of creatures that works with Colossal Majesty. If you play Colossal Majesty and you're not drawing 2 cards per turn, you're really missing out on an entire card, and you do feel that. So let's go ahead and stick with what we've got here. Sort by color. Don't exactly know that I want a Plains in my deck. I have 2 white sources plus Draconic Disciple. I guess I can play 1 Plains. But we need to be majority green. I definitely don't want 2. That's 13, 14. See what this looks like real quick. This would give me 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10 green sources. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red sources. Probably not enough. Let's go down 1 forest and try that again. So this gives me 3 white sources, which is fine. Maybe I don't need the plains, and I could see definitely cut that here. Keep saying definitely. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 green, and 2, 4, 6, 7 red. 7 red is kind of sketch when I have 2 double red cards, so I'm going to go ahead and screw myself from the get-go here, get rid of a plains, put in another mountain, and then I'll have 9, 8 with 2 ways to splash the white cards. I guess 3 of Draconic Disciple survives, but a lot of times people kill this card, so not really reliable. And this is our deck. We keep drafting red-green here, but if it's open, I'll draft it. And I don't think we have a particularly good sideboard plan against the go-wide aggro decks, but we can always shave on 4 or 5 drops in some of our, fluff cards and bring in, some amount of early game creatures or something like that. Plus, we ended up with a Naturalize and a Plummet, which are sideboard cards I tend to like having access to. But that's going to go ahead and do it. We ended up in Naya, red-green essentially, past a pretty sick black deck. Actually, it was like 3 or 4 good black cards. Not insane. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and run what we've got here. Thanks for watching. As always, my name's Timothy with Mana Rocks, and I'll see you in the matches. Alright, y'all, it's Timothy here. We are in match 1, playing a red-green deck. Got kind of a sketchy keep here. I have 2 turns to draw a land, and hopefully this Rejuvenator gets us there. Plus, Luminous Bonds is not looking great here, but it could be a serviceable hand if we draw a land. Plus, Elvish Rejuvenator can pick up Oakenform, which isn't bad. You'll have to forgive me if I try to drag my lands. I've been playing a lot of Arena lately, which hopefully I'll be able to start recording some drafts for Arena, even though I'm not a huge fan of drafting against the bots. Some weird stuff happens. Opponent did mold a 6 and scry to the top, and we're going to hope to draw our 3rd land. 17 lands in the deck, don't feel too bad about it. And we got there. Unfortunately, no 2-drop, but it is what it is. Hopefully they don't sit on an Essence Scatter here. Banefire is a nice card to have access to. Let's see. You got an Essence Scatter? No. It would be great to hit a tap land. It did not, but I'll happily pick up the mountain here. If my opponent just plays like a blocker or something, I might stick Oakenform on this Rejuvenator. It's kind of hard to burn it at 4 toughness, and if they want to go ahead and bounce it to my hand, I get to replay it for value. And then if I draw a land, well, I guess that messes up curve a little bit. I think we're just smashing. Let's go and do it. Go ahead and get in there. Red-blue won't have too many ways to block it, although they could easily have a Dwindle or something along those lines. Kind of awkward that all of my white sources come in tapped, so I can never rely on, drawing into a way to deal with it. Ooh, they do have the Electrify. So nice little 2-for-1, although Rejuvenator already gave me some value. Not in love with seeing the Electrify there, but at least they're not adding much to the board here. I get to stick another creature. Vine is a pretty good creature to stick. Might as well put it down while they can't block it and see if they want to play something. If they attack with Windmage and play something that can block Vinemare, I might just Banefire their creature and get in there with Vinemare. We'll see what they do though. They might not even have a creature to play. There might be a control deck with a bunch of spells or something like that. We'll see what the play is. It's a Havoc Devil. Alright. Not interested in trading for that. Could also just play this Vigilant Baloth. That's pretty sweet. Banefire for 4. I'm just going to play Vigilant Baloth and let him swing. We're not under too much pressure with the Windmage. If they play like a Horizon Scholar or something, then things get a little bit dicey, but Vigilant Baloth gets to attack next turn too. And I do like to, oftentimes in situations where it's like use a removal spell or play a creature, I like to play the creature most of the time. Plus I might get a spicier target for Banefire here. A Frilled Sea Serpent. I can't actually kill that one. It's kind of awkward. And I can't cast the card I just drew. Well, Frilled Sea Serpent kind of messes things up, doesn't it? It's actually super relevant here. And it could start clocking me, too. If they draw a 7th land, they just go in on it. I'm going to have to, Banefire this Windmage. So I think my play this turn is to play Bristling Boar. I can't attack with Vine Mare. Maybe I should have traded it off when I had the chance. Can't really attack with Vigilant Baloth. Well, they don't have good blocks for it. I could see just Banefire and Aven Windmage to shut off their source of damage. Yeah, we're gonna get beat this turn, or this game, if I don't find an answer to this Frilled Sea Serpent. They have 2 cards left in hand. They can spend some amount of mana, or their entire turn, to make this unblockable. Deal 6 to me. They probably want this on defense for now anyway, right? Alright, don't have any other huge creature here. Sky Scanner. Well, that's annoying because it does just, cantrip them, but it's not the worst. Instigator. Alright, didn't see that coming. Would love a white source to get rid of Sea Serpent. Just a bunch of big creatures not going to cut it here. I think, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have to kill this now. This is where not having removal sucks, and again, not having an actual plains in my deck means that this isn't really an out. Maybe I can do something with Ghirapur Guide. Maybe I can Banefire them. For now, I think I'm just adding another threat to the board. Maybe I can start attacking too, but Frilled Sea Serpent blocks me off so well. 2, 3. I wonder what happens if I attack with like Vigilant Baloth. They probably go block with Sea Serpent plus Instigator, and then I can Banefire to finish Sea Serpent, and that takes away their biggest threat. Maybe I can play Guide in the same turn. Alright, we're going to get Vigilant Baloth in and see if they want to throw the Frilled Sea Serpent in front. Vine Mare also just kind of eats it there. And Bristling Boar is not great either. Yeah, I don't think this is going well for us. I'm hoping they just block with Frilled Sea Serpent, and then I can go like Banefire for 1, play Ghirapur Guide. My best case scenario involves them blocking with this somehow. Alright, that just bouncing is okay. So we're going to Banefire for 1, and then play Ghirapur Guide. And that gets like, they have 3 in the air on us, possibly more if they cast spells. But it does give us some leverage to race them, and if I can answer Windmage, they don't have too much else. Another flyer would hurt a lot. Volley Veteran, alright, and that is going to deal 3, so they're going to kill Bristling Boar. Opponent's Mold to 6 worked out just fine for them, and you can see how not having removal spells hurts you in this format. Pretty bad, too. Going to take 3, down to 8. Alright, a little bit late on that. I think I've got to just jam with everything here. I guess I can make Vigilant Baloth unable to be blocked by small creatures, so that Havoc Devils is the only thing that can block it. I could do the same thing. Oh no, they have Volley Veteran too. Alright, I think it's time to try and trade off Vine Mare. Since it trades for one of the 4 power creatures, it's going to trade for Volley Veteran, I assume. I don't think we're winning this game. Seems highly unlikely, and I showed him Banefire, which is kind of bad. Alright, I would rather them trade off the 4-3 Trampler than the 4-2 Vanilla. And they let Vigilant Baloth get through. That might be relevant. Go ahead and snap off the Thornhide Wolves and pass. I don't see us making it out of this one alive, boys. Uh-oh. Oh, Anticipate. I mean, that's bad for me because it does make the Windmage lethal next turn if they find another spell here. They deal 4 to us this turn. If they play another spell, 5, and then they just have lethal with the flyers. Giant Spider's probably coming in this match. Seems pretty decent against the cards that are killing me. Naturalize doesn't have really any targets at the moment, except Sky Scanner. Alright, what else you got? Okay, another Havoc Devils. They probably have Sarkhan's Unsealing in their deck or something like that. I think my out here, 1, 2, 3. No, they can kill us. Let's see if they see the line, but I'm going to go ahead and make this pseudo unblockable. Actually, if they trade off, they don't just kill us. Oh, they could double block with Havoc Devil too. Yeah, I'm willing to bet they have something like Sarkhan's Unsealing in their deck, given the double Havoc Demons, Frilled Sea Serpent. Like, it seems very likely. I could super next level this opponent and consider bringing in Naturalize in case they have it. But my opponent can kill me this turn if they see the line, which is just attack with all creatures. I can only block 3 of them, and I take lethal from the rest. Who knows, they might not see that line. They might just attack with the flyers, or they might have a spell and they can kill me with just Aven Windmage. Who knows? Yeah, we'll go ahead and just concede if they make this attack. Close game, got them down to 6, but their Frilled Sea Serpent walled us off pretty hard. I missed enough land drops that I couldn't just Banefire it. Might have been right to Banefire Windmage, but then I would have been dead to that Frilled Sea Serpent almost definitely. Looks like they're considering leaving one back, or they're thinking about what they could play around here. Doesn't seem like they have a spell either. Alright, what you doing, opponent? What you doing? Are you killing me? Alright, so they killed me. I would advise the opponent to just kill me here. I like Thornhide Wolves over Fire Elemental. I could see going wide with Druid of Horns here, or maybe Talons of Wildwood's pretty good, considering they have like 1/1s and stuff like that. Plummet's going to go ahead and come in. This is probably going to be a stalled out game for the most part. Thud would not have finished my opponent there. Lava Axe might have finished my opponent there. Do I want the Naturalize? I highly suspect my opponent has Sarkhan's Unsealing. I think it's very likely they do. Talons of Wildwood seems okay. I guess I'll wait to see the target for Naturalize before I actually bring it in. Just because their deck is constructed in that way doesn't necessarily mean they have it, and things like Havoc Devils are just playable on their own. Talons just seems fine, though, like not actually amazing. Pretty good on the Baloth since it can push through their big boy. So maybe I don't want that. Question is, what am I bringing out here? Don't have a lot of removal. Maybe I do want to bring in a Plains just to give myself the out of drawing into it. That doesn't seem too great. I could take out Colossal Majesty if I feel like this is going to be a fluff game, but I don't really think it is. Knightly Valor seems like it would have been just fine there. I do want this Plummet, though. Bring out something dirtily like Oakenform. What did they kill me with? Electrify, and we didn't see any other instants or sorceries that dealt with our creatures. So we put a Oakenform on a bigger creature. Maybe that helps us out. And same for Knightly Valor. I just kind of went all in and got a little bit punished for it. And that's acceptable. It happens. I think I'll just take out Oakenform and rely on my big creatures as they are. Kind of wish my Gaspark Twins was a Colossal Dreadmaw. And let's see. We have a very slow hand, but it's a good hand. And if our opponent doesn't have a fast hand, it's pretty good against them. So I will go ahead and keep. We have all 3 colors, which is big reason I'm keeping here. Opponent's mulling it again. But their deck seems pretty consistent. Just a bunch of 3s and 4s. Doesn't ask too much on a mulligan for that to work out. See if they scry to the top or bottom. They scry to the bottom this time. Bristling Boar is nice to pave the way. It's worth noting, if I don't actually draw lands here, that this hand isn't really functional. But it has a great curve starting on 3. Opponent kept a 1-lander. It's a little bizarre. They probably have a bunch of 2-drops in hand. Omen Speaker. Marauder's Axe. Didn't see that coming. Guess they have flyers. I am going to cast this Tormenting Voice, pitch in one of the 5-drops, probably the Thornhide Wolves. Spark Tongue seems like it'd be pretty good here. And I don't want to miss my land drops. I'm not going to be greedy with it. Yep. Discard in. Thornhide Wolves is just worse than Baloth. I want to keep the other cards in my hand. It could just be Knightly Valor too, but Knightly Valor can push past a big creature if they draw out of this. Could be Spark Tongue Dragon because of the double red. I'm just going to pitch Thornhide. It seems like the worst of my possible draws here. Now if I draw a land, I can play one of the 5-drops, probably the Baloth. And if I don't draw a land, I can at least play Havoc Devils. Alright, opponent had a reasonable keep there, I guess, if these were the cards they kept in their hand. Marauder's Axe doesn't really sway me, to be honest. And I'm glad this does not just get jumped by Skyscanner. That would be embarrassing. So question, Havoc Devils versus Bristling Boar. Which one do I play? I feel like Havoc Devils has the highest upside to just like trade off for creature, or not trade off, but get in damage through like jumpers or something like that. Oh, opponent's drawing out of it. We need to pressure them. We need to hit our lands. If we draw a land for Knightly Valor, I'll probably just slam it on Havoc Devils if I can. If they leave up mana, I'm clearly not going for Knightly Valor. They had a Lightning Strike, so they have good removal. And do you attack? You do attack. Interesting. Alright. So, do I Knightly Valor here? I don't think I do. I think I play more creatures out. Vigilant Baloth seems great. Especially since I'm getting in damage this turn anyway. Also, Vigilant Baloth does not die to Electrify. Opponent's got good removal. Electrify Lightning Strike, that's already like pretty decent on its own. Compared to what we're rocking on our deck, which is... I guess Banefire is better than those cards, but not by too much. It's not like Banefire is insanely better than Lightning Strike, although Banefire often kills the opponent. Gear Pro Guide will be pretty good if they start playing out like a bunch of little chump blockers. It can make my Vigilant Baloth get through. But looks like the opponent's actually got decisions to make this turn. Seems like their plays have been pretty straightforward up to this point. You know, play Marauder's Axe on 2, Skyscanner, kill your threat. This is the turn where they probably have multiple options, but not currently enough mana. Thankfully for us, even though we kind of stumbled on mana, we've been able to play something each turn. Can't really say stumbled, we're on 5, but, you know, we would have had an even more aggressive curve here. Like, playing the Vigilant Baloth might have just been significantly better if we'd hit a 5th land. They can't Lightning Strike Baloth, but they can go, like, block with Skyscanner, Lightning Strike, and that would have been a trade I'm completely fine with. Are they leaving mana up? Skyscanner's getting in there. That's aggro. What does that mean? So something that comes down and blocks is what I think it means? Otherwise, that is an aggressive attack. Okay, even Wind Mage, and they could be holding like a Disperse here or something. So I don't think there's any other blue cards that punish me. I could Gear Per Guide on itself. I'm not going to go for Knightly Valor while my opponent has possible Disperse mana up. I think I'm just going to smash with Vigilant Baloth. They have nothing, or they might. They could have an Essence Scatter, so I guess we find out whether they have Essence Scatter or not. They've got a lot of damage in the air if things go completely sour here. I mean, I can't play too much around it, right? I think I play Spark Tongue this turn. I don't think I'm getting to the extra 3 mana. And then if I draw a land, I have the option to go like Boar plus Greenwood Sentinel or something like that. So if they have an Essence Scatter, it's going to get anything I play here. I don't think one creature is more pivotal than not. They do not have an Essence Scatter, apparently. In fact, I'm not 100% sure what they have at all. If they just tap out for a 6-drop, I can Luminous Bonds it, or I can use this turn to get Knightly Valor on Spark Tongue and trade it off for their flyers. Luminous Bond the turn after that. If they attack, no attack this time. Interesting, but a bunch of mana up. So this is where it gets a little bit scary. If I go for a spell, they probably have something. I think I might go for Luminous Bonds this turn. Luminous Bonds up your Skyscanner feels bad, right? And then I can play Greenwood Sentinel, attack with everything. If they have a spell like a Disperse, then they can go bounce your Baloth, trade Aven Windmage for Spark Tongue. Although, yeah, I think I'm going to go for this. I don't think they had Disperse. They probably would have played it last turn. They could be sitting on some amount of, like, cancels. I think I attack with everything here. If they want to trade Windmage for one of the 3-power creatures, then okay. If they have 2 spells, like double Disperse, they go Disperse, Disperse, eat your Spark Tongue, then I'm in a lot of trouble. Not sure I'm taking the right line of play here by putting Luminous Bonds on this, but at some point they're going to have to play out their own threats. I think the only way I get super punished here is that they're on double spell, which they could be. Electrify this thing, get this up to a 3/3. Oh, let's see if they have it. If they have a Disperse here and they bounce Vigilant Bailoff, then they just get to eat the guide with their Windmage. As is, they can trade off for the Ghirapur Guide. And if not, they go to 1. All right. So kind of figured out what they had there, but them getting Ghirapur Guide out of the way was pretty nice since it gets past their last remaining creature, but at least they didn't completely destroy us with 2 spells there. Looks like they didn't have much of anything. This time we're on the draw. Marauder's Axe makes me want Naturalize a little bit more, but not that much. It's not amazing. And we've seen just Electrify and Lightning Strike. This would be a good pack for... let me try that again. This would be a good matchup to have a Chaos Wand, but we don't have Chaos Wand. Centaur Courser might just be better than Ghirapur Guide, given that they have Windmage and whatnot. Also, Ghirapur Guide doesn't match up well against Goblin Instigator, or at least the stat line does it. It does give you that extra little ability, which I could see being relevant. On the draw, Naturalize is kind of staring me in the face here as a card that I'm not 100% sure whether I want it or not. I think I'm just going to submit my deck as it is, though. Oh, we have a Giant Spider. We definitely said we wanted that, right? We mentioned that and then didn't say anything. So I think I can cut Ghirapur Guide for Giant Spider. And could be Centaur Courser, but bringing these things against Flyers, it seems like Flyers and Frilled Sea Serpent are really the cards I'm scared of. Will be kind of annoying if my opponent is a deck that relies on Sarkhan's Unsealing or has it and we haven't seen it, then we haven't boarded against it. This is a fine hand. If I brick completely, I have Tormented Voice to help find an additional land. And not really what I want to draw here, but it'll work. So I anticipate we're going to like Tormented Voice, pitch in Nightly Valor next turn or something like that. Just the most likely card to be dead in her hand. Ooh, draw the second white card. Let's go ahead and ditch Nightly Valor. I think Luminous Bonds is probably just a little bit more useful. And pass. Here we can play Centaur Courser. Again, we get to curve out when we draw our 4th land. Ooh, opponent has Chaos Wand, but how good is it against us? We have our 2 removal spells. What else do we have in the deck? I'm not entirely sure we have very many other targets. This is where it'd be nice to pull up our deck list that I didn't save. Let's go and get Courser down. Yeah, we don't really have a lot of cards that this can even hit. We don't have pump spells. I'm probably forgetting something that we do have that it can hit. And it's probably going to blow us out. Drawing the 4th land would have been great there. As it is, I'm probably going to have to play Sky Scanner and could leave this back on defense. I think trading 3 damage for 4 isn't exactly great here, so I'm going to play Sky Scanner and hope to hit a land. Tap land would be great to hit this turn. Please. Pretty please. Try Green Seeker. A little bit late. Green Seeker would have been an insane 2-drop. As it is, our opponent's kind of going to push over us if we don't draw into our land soon. I'm going to attempt to trade Centaur here. And hope the opponent's okay with it. And hope they don't have much else to follow up with. Alright, I could try to Banefire that, or I could just draw a Nake Ogre. I'm not even sure a Nake Ogre is better than Green Seeker here. I think I'm just going to play Green Seeker. I need to hit my land drops. I have ways to deal with this Wind Mage if I do draw my land, so I'm just going to get it down and hope that it starts drawing us land. Next turn I'll have 2 cracks at drawing a land. Lightning Strike, Green Seeker. Alright. I think if I were them, I would have used it on my turn to get the extra point of damage in. Or on their turn. 6 mana, but they only have 2 cards left. They have Chaos Wand, but it really doesn't have relevant targets in the deck that I can think of. There's something I'm forgetting. Doesn't hit enchantments, only hits instants or sorceries. Another Havoc Devils. Alright, now would be a great time. Thank you. What am I most likely to be willing to trade off for Havoc Devils? If I play Giant Spider, that stops the flyer, but I can do that at any point. I think I want to play my own Havoc Devils and try and trade for theirs. Although a Nake Ogre is a little bit worse, but uses my mana. I think I'm going to just try and trade a Nake Ogre for Havoc Devils. It's not great, and I should probably be attacking with Sky Scanner since I'm not blocking with it. Alright. I do need the opponent to brick a little bit here. And I would like to draw, one more land, but if I draw the tap land, I've got a lot of removal for what my opponent can do. I guess I didn't even really consider electrifying. I'm going down to 13 minimum this turn if they have nothing. They're going to Chaos Wand us and hope to hit a pump spell or something. Let's see if we even have a target. Plummet. They can kill Sky Scanner. Alright, yeah, we brought in Plummet, right. And how much of my deck was revealed to them? I don't get to see it, I guess. That's my graveyard. Alright. So now the question is, do I want to get Giant Spider down to potentially block this Wind Mage, or do I want to get some sort of pressure on board? I think getting Giant Spider down is pretty good, although Thorn-Eyed Wolves starts bashing. Let's get Giant Spider down. This just stops my opponent. Clearly they didn't have anything because they went for the play, assuming I had like Titanic Growths or something like that. I think Plummet's literally the only target I have. Alright, they electrify. I might have to electrify this Wind Mage now. I don't really want to electrify this thing, but Plummet's gone, Giant Spider's gone, I don't have flyers in my deck. Forest. I mean, worst case scenario for me for sure is if I play... I need to get some sort of pressure down. I'm going to go ahead and play Thorn-Eyed Wolves, take another hit from Wind Mage, and then hopefully electrify the next thing. They drew a cancel that I'm pretty sure they didn't have before. Still not the worst thing in the world. I'd rather them cancel a creature here since I have a backup rather than the removal spell I'm going to use on their Wind Mage. But if they just keep drawing spells and have answers and alternate like answers and spells, it's not going to work out for me. Gutter Snipe will trigger if they hit Chaos Wand. They probably want a Chaos Wand right now. Yeah. Let's see if we have a... Yeah, we have no targets, but they know our entire library. So they can't get free pings off Gutter Snipe. They don't get free things here. This is not good for us, but I think I'm going to take the turn to electrify the Wind Mage. Actually, it's not great getting Colossal Majesty down, but I can Banefire for 2 and play Majesty, and then electrify the next thing. It's not like that's insane or anything, but it lets me just get another card down, so it'll be good later on. Chaos Wand is now a dead card, but they could just, cold top deck more creatures. Havoc Devil stops Gutter Snipe, so they have like a one turn opportunity to draw something that deals with Havoc Devils. Alright, again, try to get a creature down, see if they draw into something that deals with it. They've used the Electrify and Lightning Strike we already know about. I'm going down to like 5 this turn too. Alright, so Havoc Devil successfully walling off the Rejuvenator. Now I'm going to go for Banefire plus Colossal Majesty. And I have to be a little bit careful. I think I run this first. Maybe I go, yeah, 1. Hope they don't have a spell here. If they have a spell, it's really bad. Because that blows me out. Maybe I should have, that's a reason to do that on their turn before they draw a card, so they can't possibly top deck a spell and save their Wind Mage here. Could also Banefire for 3. Fingers crossed, no spell. They're going to try to Chaos Wand me, and I have nothing. Okay, cool. So their last card is not something, it's not a counter spell, it's not a bounce spell. It's basically a land, something non-interactive. I'm going to get down Colossal Majesty this turn. Start drawing 2 cards per turn, and then hopefully I can go like Rejuvenate or Electrify and really start dealing with things here. There are a lot of draws my opponent could have that make this bad, like if they kill my Havoc Devils with a spell, Gutter Snipe deals 2, I go down to 1. If they draw Frilled Sea Serpent, that's actually pretty scary. But if they brick for 1 more turn, I get to start drawing 2 cards per turn. Here, I think it's important to get Tranquil Expanse down and just Electrify Gutter Snipe. We'll go ahead and do this now. Rejuvenator is not great here, and I want to have the option to Luminous Bond something if they do draw something off the top. Can't imagine they have much, otherwise they would, start attacking with Gutter Snipe, but we'll see. If they had like Disperse or something, why not use it? They Chaos Wand it again? Just to be sure? Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I thought they Chaos Wanded on... Oh no, they Chaos Wanded on our last turn. Alright, and now we get to start Bastion. This is a very close game, but having Luminous Bonds to deal with their next big threat makes me feel pretty comfortable. And if they can't deal with ours, then we're drawing 2 cards per turn. We're going to outdraw them here. We're kind of out of removal. I mean, we are out of removal. They drew Volley Veteran, which does not kill our guy. We're going to Luminous Bonds that and just keep attacking them, I suppose. Frilled Sea Serpent is still a scary card. Alright, bunch of lands. Get that out of the way now. Play Luminous Bonds. I wonder if they're going to keep activating Chaos Wand on us to reshuffle our library. Is there really a reason to do that? I guess it lets... oh, I see. That's actually kind of cool. Our opponent knows the contents of our library because they've seen it all with Chaos Wand. So if they're really smart, they can figure out what cards we've drawn by activating Chaos Wand again. And we just won't have the cards that we had last time. So they get to see what we have and what we don't have left in our library. These are all cards that I'd be happy to have. Do we have Spark Tongue Dragon still in our deck? We do. Spark Tongue would be a great draw. This gets close to closing things out. Divination was not something I wanted my opponent to draw there. Having access to 2 more cards, not what we want. Alright. Well, we can't attack anymore, can we? We need to draw some creatures. These are creatures. Let's see. We have 8, 9, 10 mana. Vine-Mare doesn't do too much. I think I'm just going to Spark Tongue and shoot them for 3. Put them down to 8. Or I could play Vine-Mare this turn. Or I could attack with Devils. It dies to Gearsmith, Guardian, and then Spark Tongue and kill that off. But I'm not too worried about this. It is lethal, though. If they draw a blue creature, I have to chump. But I'm fine chumping with Rejuvenator. I think I'm going to just go Spark Tongue Dragon here. Shoot them for 3. This puts them pretty close to dying. And we're not attacking. Alright, opponent gets to top deck again. Keep in mind they have at least one other card from last turn, so 2 cards that are possibly relevant. I think they have at least one complete dud in their hand. Anticipates a good draw. Lets them kind of dig for a possible answer here. If they can kill Spark Tongue Dragon or answer it somehow, then they're not in too much trouble. If they can deal with Havoc Devils, then I guess they can attack. Skyscanner is super annoying. They probably anticipated for that one, I assume. Otherwise, I might play that before. All right, Tolarian Scholar is not great. If they attack with Gearsmith, probably trading these 2 off for it. Well, I can block with Rejuvenator. Attack with Spark Tongue. Alright, I'm just going to do this. It gives me a possible attack with the Havoc Devil, too. Bristling Boar. Alright, and I could just play 2 creatures this turn. If I attack with both, that's not a lethal attack. They don't have to block, and I could play 2 creatures. They could trade 2 creatures off for Havoc Devils. And that would deal them no trample damage. They would take 3 in the air. They would lose the Gearsmith Guardian. But I do have to block this. I think I'm fine trading Vinemare off for Gearsmith Guardian. I am going to attack with both creatures and just play both of mine. Double block's fine by me on the Havoc Devil. Puts them down to 5, gets their flyer out of the way. I get to play something that trades for Gearsmith Guardian. It's possible they just go like block here, though. I don't think they want to not block, although they know I don't have any instants in my hand. Well, I guess they don't know I don't have one in my hand. They know I can't draw any because of Chaos Wand. So there's nothing in my deck that just like randomly kills them out of nowhere, unless I already had it in my hand. Oh, opponent has no blocks. All right. I'm going to play 2 creatures here and hope my opponent doesn't draw something fantastic. And I think I'm supposed to play out my land. Nah. Alright, what you got? 2 cards. One I think is a dud, and one I think they just drew for the turn. As of right now, if they attack, I'm going to block Vinemare on Gearsmith Guardian, Bristling Boar on Tolarian Scholar, untap and see what happens. This has been a very interesting game, like, really good game. Alright. So, just like I said, we're going to go ahead and make these blocks and see if they kill us. Nothing else I can do. Chaos Wand, see what else I possibly have. Alright, fingers crossed. This has been a really long, grindy, interesting game. We got all their threats off board too, and I have a bunch of lethal creatures, and boom, we took it. I wonder if they boarded Chaos Wand in? It's just not good against us. It is good to know that we have a deck that Chaos Wand is not great against. It's also worth noting in that match, specifically because they had Chaos Wand, that my opening hand had Electrify and Banefire. Banefire is not a hit that does anything off Chaos Wand because you can't pay for X, but Electrify being in my hand there made a lot of their stuff a blank. Not sure. I took some lines of play I'm not really sure about there, and we got a little bit lucky with our opponent bricking and, our cards sticking towards the end, but we really had to fight through a lot of stuff there. Anyway, taking match 1. I will see you in match 2. Hey y'all, we're back for match 2 on the draw this time after fighting through a pretty grindy match 1. I like my hand. Opponent mulliganed and scries. Well, we'll see. But I like the hand. It has the white source. It has Rejuvenator to help me maybe play Baloth on turn 3. Doesn't look like I'm against an aggro deck, which is nice. Unless they're blue aggro, which I guess is a thing. Not really, but it could be a thing. I feel like my deck's probably bad against like committed control decks. Ooh, Diamond Mare. That's kind of an odd card. I wouldn't have expected to see that here. Name in blue. Drawing Sentinel there was fine. It's not like it's great against Diamond Mare, but it does let me add to the board and really curve out with this hand. 2-drop, 3-drop, 5-drop. Not that my 2 and 3 drop are going to be super impactful against this Diamond Mare, but opponent's going to gain some life. Oh, Skilled Animator. All right, never mind. Opponent's just going off, making a 5/5 on turn 3. That's fine. We're going to take a lot of hits. If we draw a way to kill Skilled Animator, then it gets a little bit worse, but my opponent's probably blue-white artifacts here. That makes sense. I will play Rejuvenator and possibly Chump with it. Who knows? Let's see what we put on the bottom. That's relevant too. None of our removal spells to the bottom. Guess I should have attacked with Greenwood Sentinels first. If I tap out and attack, there's no way they don't just block it. But if I attack first, there's a chance they don't block it. In the off chance I have a pump spell there, Sure Strike, Titanic Growth, something like that. I'm not going to block this. I'll take my beats. Oh, are they mono blue? I doubt they're mono blue. They did mold to 6, so possible they don't have anything. Could bait out some potential counter spells here. But I'm going to go ahead and jam with my Greenwood, if you know what I mean. Probably just block. Oh, they don't block. See, that's what I was talking about last turn. I might have gotten in some free damage. Yeah, if they counter something, they counter something. Alright, Vigilant Baloth surviving there is kind of nice. Or not having a counter spell. It also means I can rule out all 3 counter spells. Bone to Ash, cancel, and what they called? Bone to Ash, cancel. What's the other one? Oh, Essence Scatter. Because I highly doubt they don't play it there. If this trades here, that's fine, but it also gets rid of all of their problematic creatures. Gearsmith Guardian's pretty good. I could go Torment and Voice, pitch a Mountain, and then play Bristling Boar. I can't play both of my creatures anyway, so I think that's kind of fine. Pitch in a land. If I draw Electrify, I might be able to get him. Oh, 2 lands. I think I'm just going to get beat down this game. Is that what's going to happen? Opponent's deck is coming together on that mold 5, though. Gonna have to try and like double block Gearsmith Guardian and hope they don't have interaction. Which I don't think they did last turn. Yeah, they are blue-white. Novice Knight. Alright. Was not expecting the Novice Knight. Alright, we are flooding out pretty hard here. Which is not good. Our saving grace might be that the opponent doesn't have much left in their hand, or maybe they're choked on just a bunch of white cards aren't too relevant. And, ooh, Knightly Valor. Problem with Knightly Valor is if I just stick it on Bristling Boar or something, then they can trade off, but at least I get the 2/2 out of the deal. I think what I might do, and I'm just assuming their last card's not relevant because they haven't like really interacted with our stuff, is if I put Knightly Valor on Centaur Courser, I get the 2/2 out of the deal, and then Centaur Courser can just trade off for Gearsmith Guardian if they want to make that trade, and then Bristling Boar can get past their other creatures. So I think I'm going to go for this here. If they have something, they have something. But they haven't played in a way where it makes me feel like they actually have something. And if they do, they do. And plus, this gives us enough blockers if something goes seriously wrong. They might just take it as well. Or like jump with Skilled Animator. Alright. I don't mind getting the damage in there either. We have drawn 9 lands, 10 lands so far, so we've got pretty good concentration of non-lands left in our deck. We don't want to see a flyer. Alright, Marauder's Axe doesn't change too much here. They can equip it to Novice Knight, and then Novice Knight can start attacking, but I have enough little creatures to block that I'm fine with it. And it doesn't add to their toughness at all. It looks like I drew my 11th land, so whatever. Plus, I guess what this does is gives them the option to go Novice Knight plus Skilled Animator if they want to. Or take 5. Alright, I'll go ahead and play a Mountain. Playing the Mountain mostly if I draw like Spark Tongue Dragon or something. I want to make sure I have enough mana down. Alright, snapping something off here. Dwindle. Alright. That's pretty good. Takes away my biggest threat. Naturalize in the sideboard, but not in the main board. Skyscanner is a good draw. Especially since they don't have a flyer. It pressures them a little bit. Just a little bit. Another reason to play out all your lands. Wow, is that land number 12? I don't really have attacks anymore. Just gotta ship the turn here. Hope that I can draw out of this before they do. Haven't already drawn 10, 11, 12 lands. So 5 lands left in a 20-card deck means 3 out of every 4 draws should be something good. Or my opponent can just top deck in a Johnny, which I guess changes things a little bit here. Don't know how close I am to Alpha Strike in the opponent. Yeah, this is going to get bad pretty quick. Johnny can't let that ultimate. Skyscanner can pressure it, but they get to build up a pretty big army here. These are not quite the cards I want to be drawing. I think as long as I keep this off ult, it's fine. So I think I want to be attacking them as much as possible. Hopefully get to a point where I can maybe Alpha Strike them or something like that. Doesn't look like that's going to happen this game. They could also minus this to get Diamond Mare back, which isn't even really relevant. Do want to note how sick Tectonic Rift would be here. Just make all my creatures unblockable, kill them. It's possible they just keep bumping it up too. Oh, and they top deck something else good. 6 mana, 7 mana. Meteor Golem off the top. My opponent went a Johnny into Meteor Golem. What's it like? What's it like to have everything when you need it? Not that a Johnny's like everything they needed, but it does sound pretty nice. They probably want to start attacking. I can't kill them. I have no flying pressure anymore. A lot of my deck is blanks, unfortunately. Gaspark Twins is pretty good, I'll admit that. Not that good, though. And a Johnny is close to ult. At the beginning of your end step, create 3/1/1 white cat creature tokens. Well, I'm just dead to that if it happens. I get maybe one more crack at letting it not happen. Yeah, into a Johnny's Pridemate. This is fine. Would have been great with the Diamond Mare. I like the opponent's deck. It's kind of like a pretty sick blue-white aggro deck. They got strong cards in a Johnny and Meteor Golem. They're just going to protect their Johnny. Spark Tongue would be fantastic here. All right. Spark Tongue lets me pressure them and also shoot a Johnny down a little bit so it doesn't ult. Pretty sure I can't beat that ult, so thank you, Spark Tongue. Shaboom. Maybe the opponent can stop top decking strong cards. I would like to pay for this. Shaboom. Let me see. If I kill Meteor Golem here, they have 4 blockers. I attack with everything except the Courser. They block 1, 2, 3. They take 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's not going to cut it. So let's go and shoot a Johnny down. Keep it off ult. Put a flyer on board. Hope the opponent doesn't get too frisky here. And then what we need to draw to close this game out quick before they draw out of it is like Oakenform. Put them on like a 2-turn clock or something. They can get back Diamond Mare and maybe gain some life. Or they could just keep top decking the way they have. I guess Pridemate's not insane, but they did go a Johnny into Meteor Golem. And they probably start attacking me. I'll happily throw a Quarter in front of something. Okay, sure. Let's go ahead and attack them. I mean, as it is, they're on a 3-turn clock, but it's going to be close. They have a couple of draws here to get out of it. I think they clearly drew nothing relevant there. But they've got 2 more draws here. Maybe they draw a bounce spell for Meteor Golem or something like that, replay it and kill my Spark Tongue. We have drawn 13 lands. Pretty gross, pretty gross. That's why I like Tormenting Voice, but not quite going to cut it. All right, so making some big threats now. It's weird they put a counter on Meteor Golem that far. All right, if they have nothing, then Oakenform does kill them here. I'm going to go for it. I don't think they drew anything. They played a land that turn. Didn't seem like they had anything last turn. let's go ahead and just attack them and see if this does the trick. Even if they have a bounce spell, I get to replay Spark Tongue at the very least. Alright, I think we luck sacked a little bit. I think my opponent luck sacked, and then we luck sacked back. Like, Spark Tongue into Oaken form is one of the ways we close out that game. Spark Tongue might have been the only thing in my deck that could stop at a Johnny. I guess I have Banefire too, which could have just killed them. But I'm surprised they didn't start jamming with their big creatures there. I know they've got to be scared of an Alpha Strike, but I'm at 10, right? So they have a Johnny in their deck. We're going to bring in Naturalize. Diamond Mare, Marauder's Axe, Meteor Golem. These are all possible targets. I like cards like this a lot worse when they're going to pressure us with a Johnny and stuff like that, but I'm still going to keep it in. I think the upside's pretty high. Our flyer seemed great there. They did not have ways to deal with it, but I also don't really have that many flyers. This is the type of game where Switcheroo seems like it'd be pretty sweet if they're going to load up a bunch of stuff on one creature. Things that aren't good. I want Naturalize out. I know that. I want all my removal in. Thornhead Wolf seems decent. Gear Per Guide. They have a lot of big creatures. Gear Per Guide doesn't actually seem great. At least not better than like a Centaur Courser. And I think that's the only thing I want to make. I don't think Plummet seemed very good. They probably have Sky Scanners or something, but I'm not going to bring in Plummet against a deck that didn't show me any flyers after that many turns. Naturalize, yeah, we'll just bring in the Naturalize. And really wish we had a Reclamation Sage to bring in as well. What does this mean? What do you? Get out of here. I think Tormented Voice makes me keep this hand. Opponent molds to 6 again on the play this time. Although, if they have the same draw they had last time on the play instead of the draw, then we're in a little bit of trouble. And they scribe to the top. So they like their top card. We are going to probably Tormented Voice away Luminous Bond. Again, just the highest potential of being a completely dead card. No turn 2 artifact is nice. Ooh, now we don't have to necessarily Torment and Voice we don't want to. I don't think I need to. I mean, discarding Luminous Bond seems bad when it could be an out later in the game. You know, if I get to turn 4 and nothing's changed and I just have a bunch of 5-drops in my hand or something, then I'll Torment and Voice. Opponent missing a land drop there is nice for me too. Ooh, Banefire. As it is, we're going to play a 3-drop, and then next turn, if I can't cast anything, if I just draw another expensive card, I will Torment and Voice away the Luminous Bonds. Departed Deckhand. Can't currently kill that. I could Banefire for 0 and kill it. Could Electrify it as well. Might actually do that, just attack with Centaur Courser. Could also take 2 back. Could also Torment and Voice away Gasspark Twins, but it seems pretty good against an opponent who's mana screwed. Probably just going to Electrify their creature and see what happens. Or, with Electrify, I need Luminous Bonds a lot less. I just want to hit my land drops. Let's go ahead and just Torment and Voice away Luminous Bonds, and if I draw like a 2-drop here, be pretty good. 2 lands. Alright, well, we're hitting our land drops. So kind of what I asked for, right? Spark Tongue would be great on 8 mana, but if I don't draw anything else to play, I'll probably just play Spark Tongue against an opponent who's screwed on mana. They did not attack with Deckhand. So that makes me want to go to attacks first and see if they do something. That's very weird for them to not attack with Deckhand. Not even entirely sure what that would mean. You can't pump this. Alright. I haven't seen Essence Scatter out of the opponent. Could just play Bristling Boar. If I'm going to keep hitting land drops, then Spark Tongue Dragon has value later on. If they Essence Scatter some, I'd rather them scatter the Boar. But the game actually won't matter at all if they don't draw into their 3rd land, so kind of a shame that they've had to mulligan twice, but the game's not over. We're just kind of destroying them if on account of them not having land drops. Vine Mare, yeah, we'll play a Vine Mare. And plus we have Banefire to kind of wrap this up. I don't think we're losing this game unless they draw into something very good soon. They just take 7 here. Alright. I like the block. Boom, 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 boom. And that should be about it. Can't imagine there are any cards they draw at this point where Banefire just doesn't kill them. 9. Yeah, I just have lethal on board. Well, that kind of sucks. Dawi Schultz. That they drew that sort of hand, but they did mulligan too, and they had a scry to the top. So they must have like mulliganed into an island or into a one-lander and then like scried the other island on top and just never got there. Opponent's deck seemed like it was pretty strong. They had a very high card quality. Meteor Golem, Departed Deckhand, Johnny, like these are all great cards, and they had kind of a little bit of a theme with the artifact stuff, but it didn't seem like they had, the right draws to back it up. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and enter the finals here with our red-green deck, and hopefully it goes well for us. I'll see you there. All right, here we are on the draw against Pawn. Round 3, we're in the finals. Opponent is keeping. I'm going to keep as well, especially with Dryad Greenseeker and my white mana. Seems pretty sweet. Oh, red. Here comes the red-white deck in the finals every time, right? But no one-drop. Gatspark Twins. We don't know we're against red-white, but we kind of know we're against red-white, right? 100% what it's going to be. Plains, Goblin Instigator, Vyashno Pyromancer, deal 2 to you. Oh no, maybe it's not. Maybe they're mono red? Who knows? At the very least, Greenseeker does block most creatures they can play on turn 2. They Torment and Voice away Electrify. Ooh, and we drew Luminous Bonds with the white source already on board, so don't hate our position at the moment, but we also don't really know anything. I doubt mono red. Yeah, that seems more like it. Red-black can be pretty aggro too, to be honest. Skymark Bloodletter, huh? This card's great. Awesome reprint. Card's fantastic. Don't really want to Banefire it or Luminous Bonds it. What I might do here is Torment and Voice away a land, since Greenseeker is very likely to draw us more lands. Against red-black, there are a lot more threatening creatures that come down than Bloodletter. I could also see just Banefire in this, keeping the pressure off, and using like Greenseeker to hopefully hit gas. I have Luminous Bonds and Torment and Voice. The problem is I don't want to use all my removal on little game creatures and then have them slam like some big creature on me that I can't deal with. I guess Banefire actually has a lot more value, so I can go ahead and Luminous Bonds this, I think. Make it a lot less of a threat and do exactly what I said, where I kind of use my early game removal and hope my big creatures can take things over. Against black, though, that's not really a wonderful game plan, because especially black-red, usually really removal heavy. Sarkhan's Unsealing. That card is busted and will kill us. Oakenform. I just want to beat them down with Oakenform. I'm actually probably going to put Oakenform on this and start attacking them. That way they can't just shoot it down here. Alternatives. Just keep activating. Their next creature probably kills Greenseeker. It's a little bit of a losing match. I'm going to do it. We're going in on them. Maybe I can race them and like Banefire them out of the game or something like that. I just think they have so many cards in hand still. They're going to draw up to 5. It's very likely they have a couple ways to trigger this thing. We got to be careful about just sitting back. Plus, if they play a creature, they just kill Dryad Greenseeker. That's not good for us. It's not good for us at all. So this is going to be hard. The fact that Sarkhan's Unsealing can hit your opponent in the face is kind of absurd. Demanding Dragon. Sarkhan's Unsealing into Demanding Dragon. We're not going to win this game, are we? So they dealt 4, and we're going to take another 5 right off the get-go. We're going to not even have mana to Banefire this thing right away. We are super dead, aren't we? So I think this turn is going to look like Torment and Voice. I guess I can attack first. Can't wait for them to play Laughless next turn. That seems kind of dope. Yeah, I can't even kill this, can I? So it only takes them casting 2 more creatures for them to beat us here. Although my sideboard card looked great. Plummet plus Naturalize. Yeah, let's go Torment and Voice. 1, 2, discarding. It's got to be Gaspar Twins, right? We're just not going to be able to cast that card into a bunch of nonsense, play Draconic Disciple, and pass. Sarkhan's Unsealing is gross. Some of the enchantments are really gross in this format. Sarkhan's Unsealing and Patient Rebuilding are kind of absurd. I played with Patient Rebuilding for the first time at F&M recently, and I didn't even know you get to draw a card for each land that gets milled off of it. I thought you just drew one card, and it's just absurd. As it is on board, Pawn is whooping our butts. Whooping our butts. Oh, are they going to go like double and knock a Ogre kill you? We're so dead. Oh, Goblin Motivator? I can beat that card. Maybe. I guess if they have absolutely nothing. Yeah, if they have nothing, then maybe we don't die. If their hand is all blanks, then maybe we're not dead. If they have any flyer, we're just dead as it is. I think I'm supposed to attack with both creatures. No, I can leave a blocker back in case they just have like a ground creature here that I need to block. What a mess, though. They're at 9. I mean, it's possible they have nothing. Played Motivator, removal spell. What was that? Geez, Spit Flame too? Oh my god, my opponent's deck is all on color rares. What is it like? Demanding Dragon, Spit Flame, and Sarkhan's Unsealing. Like, okay. Oh man, the opponent doesn't have a creature though? Or are they slow rolling the 4-power creature on us? That'd be a little annoying, right? Here it comes. They're slow rolling it. Oh, they didn't have it. They didn't have it. Maybe we can eke this game out. I need my opponent to brick next turn. I'm playing Gear Per Guide. Alright, don't have it, opponent. Don't have anything here. Just let me have this. Alright, let me have it. Come on, man. Alright. Fatal Draw Step. Here it goes. Alright, land. Nothing? Oh my god, are we gonna steal it? Do they have nothing in hand? Oh my god, if they have absolutely nothing, this is gonna be insane. Because they can't block now. Oh, the anticipation is killing me. My opponent's taken forever to make their decision. No! That's sick. Abnormal endurance there, guys, so they can block. Wait, no, you want to block the other one, don't you? Oh, I think my opponent just messed up there. Are they playing around shock? Alright, they do get one more draw here. Oh my god, we got it. That's insane. No way we should win that game. Oh, we got so lucky. Why did my opponent not block the other one? They could have killed Gear Per Guide and then had their goblin to block the turn after. Oh my god, my opponent's deck is insane. Plummet, Naturalize, both coming in. 7-drop seems bad, although Things That Survive, Sarkhan's Unsealing is kind of the name of the game here. Druid of Horns, yeah, I don't care about any of this. Nake Ogres, whatever. What did we see from them exactly? We see Skymarch Bloodletter is a reason to bring in Courser over Ogre. Remember that we made the cut here because Ogre works with Colossal Majesty, but I think I want to match up as well as possible against them. Talons of Wildwood can go on like a 4 toughness creature to put it out of range of Sarkhan's Unsealing, but unfortunately we have a bunch of 3 toughness creatures. That doesn't work quite well. Don't want Rock's Oracle. Giant Spider could be a thing here. Could be a thing. It blocks Skymarch Bloodletter. It can chump against Demand and Dragon, which is not irrelevant. Could take out the fluff in Colossal Majesty, although that card seems great. Opponent could also just not draw all their insane cards. Spitflame is so annoying, though. They have Spitflame in their deck. Kills everything except for like these two and this. Alright, maybe we don't want Giant Spider here, but we do need to take out 2 cards for the things here, right? Never mind, I'm just going to take one of these out completely, and then we need to make one more cut. I like all the top end. We do need to pressure the opponent. I could see bringing out like one of these 4 power creatures, but nah, we're not going to do that. Hero Per Guide was good there, but I don't imagine it's going to be insane all the time. So Hero Per Guide is out. And our sideboard cards are in. Alright, we managed to steal game 1. Like, straight up steal it. This hand I think I'm going to mulligan, because not only does it have the white card that we can't cast, but we can't currently cast the green cards either, and we need to draw like multiple lands for it to be even remotely good. So I'm going to mull, opponent keeping. This is a little bit better. Electrify helps a little bit, but not much. And Tormented Voice makes me want to ditch this land for sure. See, they have the turn 1 Goblin Motivator. Opponent's deck's kind of scary. I think they... Oh no, they're red-black. I was going to say, I think they're mono-red, but we've already seen that they're not, right? Oh, man. They've got Spitflame, Electrify. This is going to be an uphill battle for sure. Although I think they misplayed super hard last game. I don't know why they didn't block my Gear Per Guide when they had the opportunity. My opponent not doing anything here is what I need. I'm not going to play Torment and Voice right now. The greedy play is to Torment and Voice, pitch a land, hope to hit a land plus a spell, but I would rather save Torment and Voice for the late game if there is one, in the off chance that I flood out. I think I'm just going to Banefire Gutter Snipe right away, because I can Electrify the next thing, then play like Havoc Devils or something like that. I don't want this getting a bunch of incidental damage off of me. I don't want to give them the opportunity to pass the turn with like unnatural or abnormal endurance up. So I'm fine just tossing the Banefire here to take a potential threat off the board. I need to land my threats and hope they don't have great removal. Wow, Graveyard Marshal 2? My opponent's deck is insane. In the Membrane. I highly doubt they're going to want to use their turn to bring that back, and if they do, that's fine. So I'll play Havoc Devils here. Opponent missed a land drop. And then maybe on their turn, electrify their Graveyard Marshal before it gets out of hand. Card is great. Very mana intensive in what seems to be an almost completely red deck, but I guess if you're going to keep a card, or if you're going to keep a hand that doesn't draw your 4th land. Wow, Lightning Strike 2, holy crap. Alright, Vigilant Baloth should be good against this opponent. It survives all their removal. It's probably one of my best creatures against them. Unless they have Witch's Caress is one way to get around it. I'm hoping, I guess if I'm not going to Torment and Voice. Vinemare, ooh, Vinemare is actually great against Graveyard Marshal. Sorry, I've got 1,000 different thoughts at once here, but Vinemare seems pretty strong. Can't be blocked by black creatures. Can't be chunked by zombies, basically. Granted, I'm not blocking, so they get to swing another 3 on me and play something, but hopefully Electrify takes that out. Going to go down to 14, but I'm smacking them around for 5. And if I draw a land, I always have the option to just play Vigilant Baloth too, right? Two-headed zombie. It's kind of actually tough which one I want to electrify. I think if they just use their mana making 2/2s, I might be able to race that. If I kill this, I deal 5 to them, they deal 3 to me. 5 to them, they deal 5 to me. But I get to play some creatures. If I Oaken Form, I deal 8 to them this turn. I put them on a 3-turn clock, but they deal 7 back to me. They 2-turn clock me. So I think I am going to electrify. It's kind of tough which one I electrify here. I think it's got to be the 4/2. And here's a really cute line of play that it's something to consider, but not a huge thing. So I could have attacked with Vinemare there, and they can't block it, right? And then electrified on their turn, or electrified whenever I feel like it. But the way I played there, my opponent, there's a chance my opponent doesn't know this can't be blocked by black creatures. A lot of times people will, shortcut this as, oh, the big hexproof horse, right? And that's exactly what it is. But they, if I kill that before combat, then, and they don't know this can't be blocked by black creatures, it takes away that, like, potential facet later in the game. It's a very, very small thing, and I kind of stumbled over it because I was thinking about what my opponent's doing, but you kind of get what I'm talking about, right? Now, my opponent can block with Motivator. They're going to make a zombie, so 3, 4, 5, 6. They draw a 5-power creature, they can just kill me. No, they would need to draw a 6-power creature because they'd have to tap the Motivator. So if I go Oaken Form this turn, attack for 8, they make a zombie, then I got to clear this out of the way somehow. I could also just play Oaken Form and not attack. It's not very likely they're going to have too much that gets past this Vine Mare. But I feel like I'm supposed to attack here. I could just play Bristling Boar too, but they probably have a lot of removal. They have Electrify or Strangling Spores. That's pretty good. 3, 4, 5, 6 is presumably what I'm taking. They could also use this ability on their turn, but it makes a tap token, so Goblin Motivator loses a lot of its power. It's kind of a tough turn. I think I'm going to go Oaken Form, Vine Mare. I guess I could be really greedy and go Tormented Voice, pitch Gaspark Twins because it's not going to be good this game, or maybe it will. Blocking 2 creatures is relevant. Let's actually just play Bristling Boar and try to trade it off for something. If they have to use some amount of their removal to kill Bristling Boar, then that's one less zombie I got to deal with for the turn, or one less threat on board. Not a lot of cheap ways to kill off Bristling Boar. I guess they could Abnormal Endurance this Motivator, something I didn't really think about there. But we're going to go Bristly B, pass the turn. Looking to trade off Boar for basically anything I can. I know I haven't been extremely articulate in a lot of the things I've said throughout this draft. And that's kind of a weird thing to say, but it is something. If I was playing in real life, then there's some extent where people don't know about the trinket text on this card, which it can't be blocked by black creatures. Kind of a relevant thing, right? But doesn't come up often enough that, it's the first thing in people's mind when they see this card. All right, so they had Spit Flame, but they didn't have another creature to play out. They can't make another zombie, so this next turn is going to be super essential. I can go Tormented Voice into Oaken Form. I can just attack with Vine Mare, but they're leaving up the 2 mana for it. I could just play Vigilant Baloth. I think that's going to be my best bet here. Get another threat on board that's really hard to block or attack into. Play around Abnormal Endurance for now. I could just die to a big hasty creature off the top. Like, I'm pretty sure Demanding Dragon kills me because I either take 5 and die to haste, or I sack a creature and die to a swing out. Demanding Dragon is double red, though. If they attack with this, I'm assuming they have Abnormal Endurance. Feel like I need to block anyway. Could just be dead this game. So, Vine Mare, no. Vigilant Baloth's probably more important, right? Yeah, I do feel like the Baloth might be more important in this game. I expect Abnormal Endurance and then make a zombie. So I'm going to have to play out another threat this turn, basically. Oh no, what did they do? Oh yeah, they did cast it, but Moto doesn't like to show you the cards your opponent's casting for some reason. I feel like I need to Tormented Voice into a creature, but Gaspark Twins could be super relevant here. Again, I need them to kind of have nothing, though. Oaken Form doesn't seem like it's going to change very much here, so I think I'm going to go ahead and Tormented Voice now. Hope to just hit a creature, maybe 2. If I hit like 2 2-drops, that would be amazing. Or we could do that. And that doesn't leave us dead on board. They can make a zombie on their end step, but if they have any creature to come down and get haste, then it kind of kills us. They could also just have a trick here. Vigilant Baloth's not immune to damage. Alright, they took it, so I'm assuming they have something. Let's go and see the zombie, and then if they have something to play on their turn, then can give it haste that kills us. All right, and with 4 cards in hand, I don't think we're lucking out of this one like we did last game. Plus, they might just be able to kill us over 2 turns anyway. Here comes... Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't necessarily kill us. Not this turn. I think they do want to swing out on us, though. Oh, no, they didn't. Gaspark Twins, not going to be enough. If I attack with Vigilant Baloth, what happens? They have to block it, and they have to lose at least 2 creatures, right? Or they have to block with double Zombie Motivator. I think they're going to block with Graveyard Marshal plus Zombie, and then I play Gaspark Twins. Let's see what the block looks like first. I would love for this Motivator to go away. Oh yeah, they could just do that too. Alright, we might not be dead here. We really might not, because this thing can block 2 creatures. Currently, we can block all their creatures. They can just play a big thing with the Sarkhan's Unseal us and put us down to 2. Maybe we can attack back and do some damage. They can make a zombie. Zombie comes in tapped. Really? Maybe they don't know Gaspark Twins can block 2 creatures. So I like going block here, block here, block here. Not sure what I should be playing around here. Oh, yeah. Let's get that out of here. Please place creatures blocked by Gaspark Twins in the order that... Yeah, I want this one first. There we go. Alright, let's see what happens. I'm tapped out. I'm just going to F6, see what the opponent has here to deal with anything. Clear their board. I guess they play Sarkhan's Unseal. And if they have 2 creatures, though, they just kill us, right? Havoc Devils. Kill off one of my creatures, but then they have to chump the Baloth. Okay. Unless one of their last 2 cards is another Abnormal Endurance. Okay, okay. Let's see if they have it. They don't. So I get to play another threat out here. And hope they just don't draw into something here. Or at least hope they draw into something that has to block Vigilant Baloth. Alright, 2-headed zombie. That's going to dome me for 2, I assume. Oh no, kill this. But then they have to block with the zombie again. So they're not dealing damage to us, and they're forced to chump block. They get to keep up double red this turn, though. Or they get to keep up red mana so they could have something. This game is close. If I draw Luminous Bonds, I win. Oh, Knightly Valor. Does that really do anything? I guess it puts another threat on board, and I'm not going to not cast it here. Doesn't really change my clock or anything, but it gets this little guy down. My opponent was worried about the other 2/2. So maybe they're worried about this 2/2. Have to block. If my opponent had just dealt 4 damage to me with Havoc Devils, they would have won with 2-headed zombie. That might be the out here, is playing enough 4-power creatures and just chumping, like, 2 more kills me. Lightning Mare. Alright. Lightning Mare has to block Vigilant Baloth. I get in with the Knight. Plummet. Looking kind of weak here. Such a close game. We're not out of the water yet. They could just top deck 2 4-power creatures in a row. They could also kill Vigilant Baloth. Lightning Mare has to block Vigilant Baloth if they have nothing, though. I'm kind of hoping the opponent draws Demanding Dragon, domes us for 4, attack the Knight, plummet that. I think the best thing my opponent could draw here to wrap up game for me is just a flyer, right? Electrify this. Alright. Opponent's last card was Electrify, I see. But didn't have enough mana to play a big creature plus Electrify. So I need them to brick 2 turns in a row. Oh my god, it's going to be just like the last game. And now I don't think we can... Oh no, we could definitely lose here. They could have another 4-power creature off the top. Kill one of our things and just block our other one. But we have 2 lethal threats now. So if their big creature off the top is a flyer, that's not going to cut it. Plus they might just brick here. we don't really deserve to win that match. So before I go and talk about the draft, I do want to mention that what I was saying about the Vine Mare, I wish I could go a little more in depth because it came out kind of silly and sounded stupid. But the main point there was people forget about Trinket Text. If you think about a card like Arvad from Dominaria, where it said your other legends get +2/+2. A lot of people forget that text is there because it doesn't come up very often, and they often, like when it's relevant in a situation, it gets them. They get blown out because they forgot about it. Same thing with like Lightning Mare. Some people just forget that that card can't be countered. It says it on there, but it doesn't come up enough that, you know, sometimes you play a Lightning Mare and your opponent tries to Essence Scatter it and you just get them. And that's what I was saying for Vine Mare was there is some percentage of people there who don't know that Vine Mare, or just completely forget that Vine Mare can't be blocked by black creatures and won't play around that. They might leave a black blocker back to block Vine Mare, forgetting that it can't be blocked by black creatures. And when I electrified before combat, if my opponent's one of those people who doesn't know that Vine Mare can't be blocked by black creatures, then I take away the opportunity for them to try and block my creature and realize, oh, wait, I can't block. So in a later turn, they might play around me by leaving back a blocker that's black and just can't do it, right? So very muddled thinking there. Most importantly, I don't know how we won that last game. We got super lucky 2 games in a row, and I guess we even had a game 3 to possibly go on there. But I'm happy to win with this red-green deck. They've been doing well for me, and unfortunately that seems to be everything I end up recording from this set. I'd like to get on and show the red-white deck in action, or possibly draft a sweet control deck, open up some Elder Dragons or something cool instead of, you know, just jamming big creatures. But if it gets the job done, it gets the job done. Anyway, enough rambling. We have probably enough for a couple more drafts of this set. I'm not in love with it, but it's cool enough that we'll keep the content rolling your way until October when Ravnicum comes out. Quite a while. Might do some Zendikar drafts too, although I'm not really familiar. If you want to see Zendikar drafts, let me know. I don't know. Like, comment, subscribe. Do all that stuff. As always, my name's Timothy. Thank you all for watching, and remember to join us on the Twitter at MTG_ManaRocks. Would really appreciate some followers. Same on YouTube. Subscribe below for more content. Stay tuned to the channel for more. Thanks for watching. See you next time.